Okay, so group, today you've done your lighting techniques as well as interviewing techniques and setting up your shot. So hopefully by now you might have an understanding about the amount of time that you'll need going into your interviews, your preparation. Alright, so making sure that you're ready to go, you've got a kind of rough idea how you're going to set up your shot, how might you set up your lights when you do your actual interviews come the shooting window. Okay, with this footage, what you can do now is look at it, see where your strengths are, see where your weaknesses are, see what you might do when you come to shoot your interviews proper. Okay, think about the sound as well. Think about how you've recorded that. Think about using the lapel mic. So if you notice on this clip, when people are speaking, they're very clear, and that's what you need to remember for your documentary. The people that you're interviewing, your audience needs to be able to hear those people. Alright? Remember, when your lighting gives a nice stylized effect, so next time you watch a documentary, think about how they've done their interviews. So for example, the observational Channel 4 documentaries, they'll have the camera rolling for X amount of time, and then they'll do interviews with the people that they're interviewing in terms of, as a reaction to the observational footage that's just been shot. So you've learned a lot from today's session. You've all worked really well. Just think about how you might use it within the techniques that you've learnt today. What is a struggle, what you're aware of, what you can build on, what strengths you can build on, and employ it in your actual interview footage. Okay, so think about looking at your interviews now. How might you structure those in a documentary? So you can write all about this, what you've learned in your blogs. All right. Okay. Okay, so here we've got Eddie, and we're going to do a lighting setup in the sort of Channel 4 documentary style that's popular at the moment. So first of all, we need to get a nice frame. So don't set up your camera, zoom in, zoom out. What you want to do is focus on the head. Okay, big close-up. Extreme close-up. Alright, so when we've got that, we're happy with it. Okay, the next thing you want to do is make sure that the ring is on manual focus. You want to play around with it until you've got the background out of focus and the foreground, being your subject's head, in focus. Okay, now you've got your frame. So the next thing you want to do is make sure you've got your lighting set up. Now you can already see in the class 3 lights, and we're going to see what they look like. First we'll turn on the backlight. So Adam, if you can turn on the backlight for me. There we go, and that lights up the background, giving a sense of depth. Eddie, if you can just reach over and click on the fill light. Okay, so now we've got our fill light open. And then finally, the key light, the main light. So now you've got a sense of what it looks like. You might have to readjust your focus, but as you can see, you've got a sense of depth, sense of shadowing, and a bit of style. Okay, so once you've done that, you might want to check where it's hot. So what you need to do is go into menu on your camera, go to ring set and look for the zebras. Okay, in fact no, there's a zebra function there, so let's put it on 70, and where the zebras are it shows you where it's hot. Okay, so when you do this you'll see lots of lines on Eddie's face, it's all the zebras. Okay, right, if you want to turn that down, what you need to do is go to ring set and exposure, click OK, and then just nudge the exposure down just a little bit so it's not overexposed. So now you can see it getting darker, and what you want is maybe some in the background, and then you've got that nice kind of look. There you go. Okay, finally what you want to do is just white balance it. With a white piece of paper in front of the camera, go to menu, go down, hit the white balance, hit one push.
Webteam at o2.com. Use it. So there's a few of us in the team, so you could really mention on email again, but also observation. We were
Right, so
And now you've got professional looking setup. Don't forget about your composition, all the thirds. But then once you've got that set up, you can play around. So, turn off the backlight there. And now the background looks a bit darker, doesn't look as interesting, doesn't look like there's a lot of depth. Turn off the fill light. We've got even darker look, okay? So don't forget you can play around with your key light now. What I'm doing now is just moving this parallel to where Eddie is.
just say we plan on making a documentary about society shape.
All I've done there is move the light parallel to Eddie. So now we've got one side of his face light and the other side kind of dark. So if you're going for more like a moody documentary style, you might want to use that technique. Again, give it a bit of background. Again, it lights it up. And you've got that sense of depth going on. Okay? So don't forget, you can move your angles around as well. So if your subject's looking forward, move the camera in closer, and you've got a whole different feel there, haven't you? Again, if you stick on the fill light, zoom out a little bit, maybe play around with the focus, you've got a whole different thing. So you could have your interviewer in front of your subject talking to them. And that's just another way of doing it. Again, you could go in close for that dramatic feel. Okay. Don't forget you need to adjust. Focus. Make sure it's sharp. I'll be looking out for shots that are out of focus. You want to say something dramatic. A close-up's always good for that kind of dramatic feel. Now I've turned off the key light. a lot more darker, isn't it, all around? So we can move it over this side and get the same sort of feeling. And this time we'll have the key light on the same side as the camera. Again, going for that feel. Just be warned though that when you're interviewing, the subject might get really, really hot underneath the lights. Okay? So there's a basic sort of talk through. And once you've kind of played around with your lights and you're ready to set up and go, don't forget we've got these lapel mics which you should clip into the camera. Turn the lights off now. Whenever you're not using the lights, remember to turn them off. I'll say that again. Whenever you're not using the lights, remember to turn them off. Okay? So turn the house lights back on. They're the lights in the location or the studio or the classroom. So, like I've always said to you, the most important thing that you need to get is the sound of your person that you're interviewing. Okay? So these are little microphones. These that you can literally clip. It's not plugged in at the moment, but literally clip onto your subject's clothing, and hopefully you'll get a nice crisp sound. Finally, it'll be linked up to a boom mic as well. You can go into the Zoom mic, so you can use 2 soundtracks. Okay? Alright. Thanks, Eddie.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, then you had after part of your house. So.
It's quite narrow.
That's what they're telling me when I was doing musical.
So when you've finished with your lights, just make sure you let them cool down before packing them away. Unplug them all, unplug everything, and just let the lights just stand for about half an hour so they cool down. Okay? Alright. And finally, when you're letting them cool down, just make sure they're not against anything, such as a wall or a ceiling. Okay? So when you're lighting, you might be bouncing the light off a white surface. Just remember, if it's close to that white surface, heat builds up. Okay, so make sure there's a bit of distance. Use some neutral density and those gels to kind of cool down the light. And then when you're letting them cool down, just make sure they're stood away from anything and they're not directly against, say, a ceiling or a wall. Okay, so this, using the lighting setup, 3-point lighting, will give your productions, your documentaries, that professional look that we can be proud of. Okay, and just think how you want your subject to look, and what's the general style, the mood that you're going for within the context of your documentary and theme. Okay, then hopefully we can make some professional documentaries that you can all be proud of. So we got the clap on this and the clap on that, and then you can sync it up, alright? So away you go.
Wait, am I just on? Yeah. Right. Is it recording for questions now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 1 minute. Okay, what is the purpose of your documentary?
The purpose of the documentary is to kind of ask people about their opinions on labels and see what their personal views are and how we can kind of reinforce that no one needs a label.
Yeah, how are you going to set the theme of the documentary?
I'm gonna kind of make, I think with camera work, like what we're doing with camera work, is a bit informal, and it's kind of a bit like we're getting involved with like hands-on with documentary, so we can see what we can do to make it a bit more, get a bit more a feel.
And last question, will you have your own opinions in the documentary, or is it going to be more objective?
There'll be opinions, but we're going to focus on the people's opinions more than his own. So
So you're not coming across as biased?
no,
That's all the questions.
thanks.
Oh, now it's good.
There we go. So now we've got everything rolling, you just got to sync everything up by doing a clapping noise. So you can sync your sound up from your Zoom mic to this. So go through the motions. So whoever's your director, do the sound rolling, camera rolling stuff.
Sound rolling? Yeah. Camera rolling?
Alright. So you need someone to clap it. And you need to be in front of the camera when you do the clap. Okay?
Camera rolling? Yep.
Make sure it's right. Did you see him do it? Alright, good. Alright, so today you're doing an interview with Louis. Alright, presenter.
You read.
Okay. Did you say an introduction?
What?
Say an introduction.
She's done it.
Oh, thought you may want to do it. Oh, never mind. Shall I just ask? What is your documentary about?
How media affects youth in Britain.
What questions will you ask people?
Whether they've seen behaviour related to people watching media, whether it's influenced them like antisocial behaviour or whether it's made them do good behaviour.
Liz, on your next question, ask the question, let Louis answer it, and then listening to what he says, I want you to improvise with a new question to build on his answer, okay?
Okay. What locations are you filming in?
I think we're probably going to do it in town centre, maybe in a school and maybe in a police station if we can get the interviewer.
What are the health and safety hazards when you're filming in a town centre?
If we've got wires and stuff, it's not really a controlled environment, is it? There's people walking around and stuff, so it'll be hard to do that.
What have you discovered through research about your documentary?
There's quite a lot of one-sided arguments. People saying that it's definitely bad for you, and then other people saying that there's no harm to it.
What are your opinions, and will they affect your documentary?
I believe that everything's good in moderation, but I don't think this will affect my documentary.
What is the purpose of your documentary?
To explore the opinions of people on how media affects youth.
How will it be structured?
We're going to do it like a expository, so we're going to have the interviewer interacting with the subjects, asking them questions and shown on camera.
Improvise on the next question.
That one.
Oh, it's the last one.
Yeah.
Based on everything he said, I want you to provide some extra questions. Without looking at that, listen to what he said, and go with your gut instinct and improvise, without looking at the questions. It can come from any of you.
Are there any downsides of doing an expository style documentary, and will it be controversial in any way?
It could influence, like it could be biased because we've got as presenter taking the lead role, like his opinions could affect what questions he asks.
Do you know they're filming in town centre? What if the background sound is too loud for what you're filming?
It's a problem we're going to have to deal with when we're there.
Right, so come to the end. What do you think you say to your person you're interviewing?
Thank you for participating in our interview.
Right. Right, whenever you're good.
What subjects are you doing?
In his documentary, we're researching mental health in teens.
Is it something that you care about?
Yeah, because I feel like it's neglected a lot through media and society, and I feel like it needs to be talked about a lot more in to students and adults.
Okay, this time, Daniel, after this next question, I want you to improvise and build on a question from the answer that you get, okay?
Are you happy with who you're working with?
Yeah, I actually really enjoy who I'm working with because I'm working with two different types of people, because Christoph's not worked with, like, never met anybody who's been through it before, but Chloe has, so it's like we're getting two different views, so.
And do you think you get on well as a team?
Yeah, we get on really well. I didn't think we would at first, but we do now, so.
Okay, after this next question, I want you to try and do a suggestive question that kind of pulls an answer out of her, okay? Suggestive question, manipulative question.
What after this?
After this next one, so it's linked into the answer, so you're using suggestive ways of trying to sort of direct the interviewee.
Do you think your contributors are reliable?
Yeah, I guess, because we've only got two up to now, and they've both been really like helpful, and they've also they've taken his number and they've called us and things like that. They've actually come back to us well. A lot of people we emailed and stuff actually didn't. So.
Okay, suggestive question based on that answer.
Think of one.
Right. Team, your team.
Come on, team.
That's like interesting the movie.
That's what you're saying.
That's like what makes you think that they are like football and
That's not suggestive.
Just ask it. Go for it.
Just ask it.
What do you say? What makes you think that they're good for the documentary?
Because they've both worked with people who've gone through mental health, especially teens. So we think that we'll get a really good input from them.
And why did you decide to interview them?
Because they both, pretty much what I've just said, they've both worked with people who've gone through mental health before, especially teens, so they'll know what they're going through and how to deal with it and how we should spread awareness more.
Do you think you're not making them feel bad, when you when you're especially mental health, people might find it offensive, offended or...
Yeah, that's why we're making it objective, because we're not going to put our own opinions into it, because we know it's a really sensitive subject. So we're not saying there's a wrong or right to it, we're just trying to make people more aware and stuff, so...
So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
It's alright.
Then cut, so everything goes up.
Yep. And action.
It's a really big announcement, Ben. Our company has grown so much over the years, and we are so grateful to have experienced this with all of you who've been with us for years, as well as new people who join the Fine family every day. And it's because of all your support that we're now announcing this big thing that will bring us closer than ever before by creating a new way for us to create content together.
So are you aware
this
of
is
the
not
Fine
only a
Bros?
huge step for our company, but for
No, I'm not aware of these. I've never seen them before.
React first debuted over 5 years ago, we saw the impact of the series. The franchise has grown beyond our wildest imagination, and it's been humbling to see the impact it's had on the world. We strive with React to
So,
make
have you ever seen any of these React videos
interesting
before?
and entertaining now.
I've seen some funny ones, parody videos, but no, not really.
Various generations were saying about culture and the issues of our time.
So you're wasting your time going on the internet, going to the comments, and typing some racial slurs for a Cheerios commercial.
But what has been missing
That way
is
when
how
he
to
talks
expand
to you,
React
you'll
further
not
to
be looking
communities
away from the
across the
camera.
world,
You need to ask
which we
him
know for
questions.
years is something all of you have wanted, and we wanted too. We've realized that the way to make that happen is by having the people who helped React become a global phenomenon be the ones that make the shows with us, and that's all of you. We are excited to announce React World, which is a first-of-its-kind program that allows people and companies to license all our popular shows online, so that anyone, even you watching right now, can create your own versions in a fully legal way and be part of a new and exciting global community.
That's interesting.
So basically, if anyone wants to react to something, they can do it through them.
This is called licensing.
Oh, yeah.
Many TV shows
That's interesting.
So what they're trying
For example,
to
Britain's
do
Got
is
Talent to
when
America's
someone's
Got Talent,
trying to kind of like, when they do a React video, if they don't do it through them, they could effectively sue them.
We've created a new way to
So
license
what are your
formats
opinions on
in the digital age.
And unlike in
them
TV,
pretty
where
much
you have to pay
copywriting
huge
the
amounts
word
up
React?
front, we're providing a license with no upfront.
Well, I think it's pretty silly that they're copyrighting the word React.
Along with the license, we're going to be giving you a bunch of resources. to
People
create
been calling
shows,
them
make money, and get
greedy
featured
and kind of like
promoted
selfish for
on
doing
various
this.
ways. Find out more in the links below.
I agree with that because I've heard other companies copyrighting words and it's pretty silly. Anybody should be entitled to use like them sort of words.
Blatantly stolen by companies and people, both online and on television.
They've got a lot of hate and
everyone
slack
not to
for
support
React
those
Gold.
companies and channels. When you notice someone
Their
ripping
sub
someone's
bases have
format
gone
off,
down
don't
dramatically.
stand for it. We have been
20
creating
subs
shows online
per
for nearly
second,
12 years.
5
And
seconds
as
are going
YouTube and
down.
web entertainment
That's quite
has evolved,
dramatic.
we've seen the supportive ethos
So
when
they're
so
getting a
many of
lot
us
of
pioneers
hate. What are your
started going
opinions
away.
on?
As digital media has become more corporate,
I think
the spirit of wanting to
it might be a bit harsh, but I think without people showing their opinion about it, then nothing changes and they'll just keep copyrighting words and it'll set an example for other companies to
by licensing our formats and
like
everyone will
copyright
know we're doing
words.
this legally with our company's guidance.
We are so motivated for this. To know
So-
that our formats can inspire millions of people
Do you
and
think,
open it up for all of you to
as
have
a
a chance to
YouTube
do the
channel, do
same
you think they
as
should be
exciting
big enough
as
to
anything
do
you've
stuff
ever
like
done
this?
before. And we look forward to
Not really, I don't think they should have that kind of, yeah, that kind of power's a bit
knowing that this was when
insane
we all
really.
stood together, changed the way things were done, and created this first of its kind global
Alright.
community. So
Cut it
if
there.
you're
Alright.
Interested in creating
We're
your
going to stop
own
there.
version
What
of
about you? And action.
I think it should work, even if it's not so bad.
years, as well as new people who join the Fine family every day. And it's because of all your support that we're now announcing this big thing that will bring us closer than ever before by creating a new way for us to create content together. This is not only a huge step for our company, but for the entire global media industry. Ever since React first debuted over 5 years ago.
Alright, yep.
Hang on, camera's rolling.
Okay, so if he's presenting, you take the sort of director sort of role and then just get ready to go.
Camera's ready and action.
What interests you into doing this
Right, stop.
documentary?
Camera's ready and action.
What interests you into making this documentary?
Because it's quite like a big topic and you can talk about so many things with it and there's so much within that topic and people get quite passionate about it, so it's quite interesting to see what people think about it.
Are you passionate about it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Mason, next question. I want you to improvise based on the answer that you get.
I just did. I won't even a question.
Okay, cool. Building it.
Why is this documentary important to you? Why are you passionate about it?
Because I think it's important to educate people more on it and that we may in society be more educated about it now, but there's still so much within that topic that people don't know.
How has this topic affected you in life?
Because I'm part of the community and I feel really passionate about it and that people get educated about it.
Since you've been researching documentaries, has it affected you? What you found? Any facts or what it affected?
Good question, that.
I think I found a lot of facts, but I think there's not enough documentaries about it. There's a lot of videos and footage, but there's not enough documentaries that are actually professional and made about it.
What was your most important interview you've got and why?
We're interviewing drag queens in a nightclub, and that may be quite important to us because they can get quite passionate about it and they're really open and obviously quite flamboyant, so they may be more open and really, open to everything.
How do you think audience will react to it? And what do you think were some issues with it?
I think the audience may be more enlightened. There may be some controversy if there are people that are maybe homophobic or may not agree with some of the things in the documentary, or if somebody thinks we didn't cover enough.
That's all questions we've got.
Alright, so thank you, guest.
So Jack, what is your documentary about?
For a full English breakfast.
Jack,
Why is it? about Full English Breakfast?
'Cause you just want to find out more about like where it comes from, what food, where it's sourced from, people's opinions on it.
Right. Well, where are you filming this documentary?
Local cafes, and we'll get some like stock footage and just interviews with people.
What are you trying to find out from this documentary?
What people like about it, why they eat it, and just when they have it.
Right. And would you like to be in our documentary?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Well, that is it.
Okay, what I want you to do now is improv. There we go, yeah, go.
So, Jack, what is your documentary about?
Full English Breakfast.
What are you trying to find out from your documentary?
Just people's opinions on it, why they like to have a breakfast, and when and why they have it.
What inspired you to?
It's just like one of the main things that people think when they come to Britain and England, they just automatically see English breakfast.
Is this your original idea, or did you have a previous idea?
When we were thinking it, we had a couple of ideas, like we were going to do it on like fish and chips, but then we decided to come together and do it on Full English Breakfast.
What sort of food do you like then?
A bit of everything really, not fussy.
What sort of food, like sausage?
Yeah, normal English food and stuff. So.
Mushy peas?
Yeah, not bad, they're alright. Yeah. Chicken's alright, yeah.
Would you like to be in our documentary?
Yeah, no worries.
That is it.
Alright, good. So cut it.
Now we are.
Rolling.
Camera rolling.
Action.
Yeah.
So what is your documentary about?
Technology and mobile phones.
And how are you wanting that technology to come across in your documentary?
Non-biased for me. I don't want to be either side.
Rolling.
Camera rolling.
Action. So what is your documentary about?
Technology and mobile phones.
And how are you wanting that technology to come across?
I'm not biased against either way. I'm neutral.
So would you say you wanted to find out the truth?
Yeah.
And how are you planning on finding out the truth about it?
Asking certain people certain questions that's in the industry.
And what is the purpose of it? What truth are you finding out? What's the question?
To see if technology has either helped or ruined modern day society.
And what form do you want your documentary to take?
Expose it.
Okay,
Thank
so
you very
based on
much.
what he said, guys, now try and get him to talk a bit more because he's sort of answering in very sort of camera rolling.
Action. What is your documentary about?
Technology.
What types of technology?
Mobile phones specifically.
What you wanting to find out about that technology?
To see if mobile... what?
Probe him.
This is what I'm doing.
So, he gives an answer. Right, so then asking more about it.
Not even.
Like when you said mobile phones,
Exactly.
asking like, why?
Camera rolling. Jack, you're on the
Action.
wrong side now.
Camera rolling.
Action.
What's your documentary about?
Technology.
What is there any specific areas within the technology that you want to like find out?
Mobile phones.
Why would you say you want to just learn about mobile phones instead of anything?
Because mobile phones are ones that's been around longest. Sort of first since the first mobile phone. See how much it's changed over time.
What's your main aim? Like to find out?
To expose if it's either made today's society even worse or better, into communication-wise.
Why do you think it might have made society worse? What's that based on?
Well, my opinion to that.
Yeah.
Socialising wise, be my opinion on that one.
Explain.
Because when you're walking around town, you see people in the phone when they're talking to everybody else around them.
Have you got any examples of that?
Nah.
Can you give us an example? People
Well,
walking around town.
and you're teenagers mainly, young kids, you never see them communicating face to face. It's normally by a phone.
Do you think that makes any comment on young people then?
What do you mean by comment?
Comment if young people are on their phones all the time. What does it say about them?
Ignorance.
Okay, what's that based on then? Ignorance.
Oh my word. Because it's just courtesy to talk to people and just have a phone all the time.
There we go, good.
How could it affect them in the future?
What do you mean? Like, with kids, just socially awkward. You will.
Camera's rolling. And
So, Corey, what's your documentary about? It's about social media
and the internet and how it has affected businesses and individuals.
And what led you to choose this topic?
Just because we use social media, everyone uses it, so we could pretty much ask anyone, really.
And how are you presenting opinions in your documentary? Are you going to use interviews or have experts?
We're going to have interviews, and not necessarily experts, but people like in organisations and companies that use social media to promote the business and see how it affects.
What kind of people are you interested in viewing?
I'd love to interview some people at Sheffield Wednesday who have replied, but they've not replied a second time, saying they can confirm it. So.
And why do you use social media yourself?
I use it to view dank memes.
Okay, Adam, now based on what you've talked about, I want you to try and improvise, try and get more out of Corey.
So what do you think the people at Sheffield Wednesday could give to your documentary?
They could make it like popular, and it'll be a lot more interesting to see like maybe Gary Hooper or someone, although it's highly unlikely. But
build on that response.
And what do you think he might say about it? What do you think? What kind of opinion do you think?
Well, I think it'll be a positive one because Sheffield Wednesday, they have social media. Fans can keep up to date with transfers, just as any football club, I think, that has social media.
In your documentary, do you think you might want to show bias to it, or do you think you'll try and remain impartial?
I always remain impartial. I'm not the one that's important. I'll let the interviewee give their opinions. And
So, Corey, what's your documentary about?
it's about social media and the internet and how it has affected businesses and individuals.
And what led you to choose this topic?
Just because we use social media, everyone uses it, so we could pretty much ask anyone, really.
And how are you presenting opinions in your documentary? Are you going to use interviews or have experts?
We're going to have interviews, and not necessarily experts, but people like in organisations and companies that use social media to promote the business and see how it affects.
What kind of people are you interested in viewing?
I'd love to interview some people at Sheffield Wednesday who have replied, but they've not replied a second time, saying they can confirm it. So.
And why do you use social media yourself?
I use it to view dank memes.
Okay, Adam, now based on what you've talked about, I want you to try and improvise, try and get more out of Corey.
So what do you think the people at Sheffield Wednesday could give to your documentary?
They could make it like popular, and it'll be a lot more interesting to see like maybe Gary Hooper or someone, although it's highly unlikely. But
build on that response.
And what do you think he might say about it? What do you think? What kind of opinion do you think?
Well, I think it'll be a positive one because Sheffield Wednesday, they have social media. Fans can keep up to date with transfers, just as any football club, I think, that has social media.
In your documentary, do you think you might want to show bias to it, or do you think you'll try and remain impartial?
I always remain impartial. I'm not the one that's important. I'll let the interviewee give their opinions.
And action.
It's a really big announcement that our company has grown so much over the years, and we are so grateful to have experienced this with all of you who've been with us for years, as well as new people who join the Fine family every day. And it's because of all your support that we're now announcing this big thing that will bring us closer than ever before by creating a new way for us to create content together.
Are you aware
this
of
is
the
not
Fine
only a
Bros?
huge step for our company, but for
No, I'm not aware of these. I've never seen them before.
React first debuted over 5 years ago, we saw the impact of the series. The franchise has grown beyond our wildest imagination. And
So, have you ever seen any of these React videos before?
I've seen some like funny ones, like parody videos, but no, not really.
Various generations were saying about culture and the issues of our time.
So you're wasting your time going on the internet.
And that's all of you. We are excited to announce React World, which is the first of its kind program that allows people and companies to license all our popular shows online, so that anyone, even you watching right now, can create your own versions in a fully legal way and be part of a new and exciting global community.